Hello, esteemed audience. Today I'm here to talk about Act 2, Scene 2, The Mayor's Visit. Do subscribe to Edutainment for us, and you'll have more sessions that involve learning. They may be about nature and other items in life. Now, when I talk about Act 2, Scene 2, I refer to it as Mayor's Visit because this is the time when Mayor Mossy decides to visit Nicole and put an end to the Samaritan Act. Now, we see that Naveen, who is seated in the office, calls, sends Charlene and tells Nicole that she has to come and they need to talk. Now, the principal apologizes that she is sorry for having inconvenienced her and tells her that the mayor is on the way to the office. Now, she tells Nicole that she should be aware that there is a threat in this app and she needs to put a stop to it. Possibly, she asks whether Nicole has tried to stop the app from having those messages that are really disturbing. Nicole says it's impossible for her to do so because the app is no longer in her hands. She even asks whether the principal has tried to, send a message or something to the mayor, and she confirms that he did so. So soon we see the mayor in the office, and when he comes, he begins accusing the fellow workers within his office for having done this and that. Now, she tells Nicole that you can't blame him because under him there are a lot of corrupt people. He mentions his own committee as people are conducting evils such as projects that cannot work. Even the roads are not completed properly or done properly. We have those who are, they are taking money from the government, but then they are giving the project to their own families. We have rogue leadership in the municipality, and they are guilty of so many offenses that he doesn't think he's responsible for anything that is happening. Do you agree with that? Do you think Mossy is quite genuine in saying that there are other workers within the municipality that are causing misappropriation of public funds, embezzlement of funds, and conducting shoddy work, or even deciding to use the public resources in a wrong way? I don't believe so. Now, if you look at the themes, which sometimes, if you are looking at paper 3, the vices and the virtues, you meet such things as misappropriation of public funds. Here, we have the contractors who are paid for the quality work they should do. But at the end of it, they just do a shoddy work and they abandon everything, as shown on page 62. We also realize that we have those who inflate the prices of projects, and then at the end of it, they share money with the contractors. We have a situation where in the Department of Health and Environment, they have eaten the whole hospital as shared by Mossy. This shows that we have a lot of, money that is being wasted. We even see Mossy saying that some municipal leaders, they normally want him to, budget or relocate funds and as a way to fight what? Corruption. That is page 68. We also see the secretary. We see that anyone who wants to build anything within the municipality can make it as long as they visit the right person in the Secretarial Municipal Department of Planning and Development. This is shared on page 65 and 66. Now, if we proceed, we also meet the vice of greed and corruption. The mayor attempts to bribe Nicole so that Nicole withdraws the Samaritan app and deletes everything that people are posting there. Seymour is also corrupt because he delays the issuing of the building approvals in the Maracas municipality as shown by Mossy. Mossy also argues that Honorable Ted embezzles funds and he's accused of eating the whole hospital. Yeah, we can see that he's being called the bat by Mossy. We have a situation where Seymour bribes people so that, he receives bribes from people so that they can build whatever they want. He was also the one who bribed so that he got the unanimous votes from the voters as shown on page 67. Now, if you want to bid, the Secretary of the Municipal Department of Planning and Development, who is Seima, will just have to receive money from you, and you go on and bid as shown on page 65 and 66. Now, we have other vices such as selfishness, because for someone to be misappropriate public funds and also conduct corruption, they must be quite selfish. Nicole tells the mayor that the leaders who have conducted the crime should be judged. And we see Moses saying that it's hard to do that because even the judges are corrupt. We see also, we are told that Honorable Ramdai has the entire family practicing things that are out of law and nothing can be done to him. We also realize that when Ramdai is conducting his work, he doesn't do it quite well because he's selfish and he's greedy at the same time. Even Honorable Ted is greedy, and that is why he allows people to construct even cow sheds and pocket some money as shown on page 64. The health facility cannot benefit the society because it was constructed poorly, just because Honorable Ted was selfish and wanted to make it his own project. Seymour does not care whether people adhere to proper building standards or not. Nicole tells the mayor that the leaders who are criminal should be judged, but he says it's impossible. Why? Because some people are selfish and there is a syndicate of people who are corrupt. Now we have another vice of abuse of office. Everything I've mentioned before is abuse of office, because if you're going to be given work to do and you don't do it well, like building the road, you don't do it well, construction, you don't do it well, you even decide to give the relatives, like tenders, you decide that maybe I'll go beyond what the law expects and I'll be free. That is misuse of office and negligence of duty to some level. Then we have crime and lawlessness, because we have the black swan gun that Honorable Seymour is said to own. And this is a dangerous gang that attacks people. We have Seymour who is selling drugs and is responsible for all narcotics that are destroying the young people who are dropping out of school. And some of them are dying, some are moving aimlessly in the streets. We have a lot of leaders also who are corrupt, and that is a crime and lawlessness, because as you can see, the anti-corrupt the department fights that. We have also an aspect of whereby Seymour does not care whether people adhere to proper building standards or not. And then Nareen tells Mosi that she had sent a copy of the letter, but he had not checked for a whole month. So if we look at this, then we realize there is negligence. Now, the people of Maracas municipality suffer because the leaders are conmen, and they give fake titles. They sell the same piece for so many people, as shown on page 63. And anyone can build the way they want, which means there are no standards here. Yeah. So we also get to nepotism because people favor their own people, like they give projects to their own people and friends. Companies like the Department of Health and Environment, we have projects being given to the same family. Now we have Ramdaya, who is printing fake titles and selling the same piece of land to so many people because of egocentrism. Now, you can see those vices are quite many in such an act. And I believe we have so many others, like even intimidation and fear. People are afraid, like Mosi is afraid of opening a case on anyone. And he says he cannot, just as shown on page 66. Now, Mosi also says that he threatens Nicole, that if Nicole does not stop or delete the post on the Samaritan app, then she will be in hot soup. Yeah? Then we see Seymour is implicated by Mosi as one who cannot be prosecuted because he's dangerous with the murderous Black Swan gang, as shown on page 66. Now, when you look at that, we also have drug peddling and trafficking as a vice, and I've told you who was conducting this, that is Seymour. I've also told you the incidences where Nicole is being blackmailed, and even the use of the black swan is a kind of blackmail. So we have a vice of blackmail in this act, because Mayor Mosi, as a leader, wants to, it has to be forced to misappropriate or misallocate the budget, because he's part of the group that was involved in corruption, or else they'll vote no confidence for him. We have ignorance, and we have also escapism. So try to look around this chapter and see how is escapism coming along, and how do we have the other theme coming along. When you look at the virtue, we only have about one or two. Like Nicole is determined. So we have the theme of determination, or the virtue of determination. She does not give up, and she knows that no matter what, this app should not be stopped. Then we see education, because kids are at school. And we also see the author mentioning that kids drop from school because of drugs. We also see that Ted is illiterate, and he cannot make a lot of decisions on the floor. Now, Mosi says that Saima is illiterate, and that he bought the downtown his papers. And so we see the relevance of education, that if you don't have education, something may not be right with you. Now, we also see that Nicole, they are in a school situation. When you look at language use as illicit devices, you meet a vivid description and the imagery, because the author starts with describing the boardroom of the principal as a big rectangular room that contains large ovoid mahogany table, and we have various seats as shown on page 54. Mosi describes Ted as having an evil hairstyle, that he wears ripped jeans and bangles and necklaces that are satanic. You can imagine, there is a time one of the politicians in Kenya was described, so I don't want to imagine. That is page 65. Then we have Mosi, who is described Justice Jaden again as dressing smartly and wearing the solemn look, and he walks fairly as if he has a lot of justice with him. Then we have metaphors. Mosi refers to a lot of people, like Ted is a bat, as shown on page 64. Mosi also says that they elect hola monkeys into the parliament, and then they complain that they're holding. Why do they complain anyway? Mosi also says that a computer program cannot stop a monkey from eating banana. Now we have Mosi, who is also sharing that any child who has dropped out of school has become garbage. You can understand whatever he means with that. Now we have similes also, like Mosi describes roads as looking like part of the battlefield, as shown on 62. Mosi also claims that the deputy gazes into empty spaces like an evil spirit, waiting for fake title deeds to be printed, as shown on page 63. Mosi refers to Ted as being like a swine. Then Mosi argues that the deputy resembles the sloth. We have Mosi testifying that Ted makes the whole chamber smell like a nightclub or brewery. Then Mosi indicates that Ted put up some site offices that look like cowsheds, an exaggeration of exactly what he was doing in his ministry in the aspect of misuse of power. Now, Mosi also claims that Seymour has fake papers in law, and he knows as much law as does the goat, and he has a goatee, just like the he-goat that he is. Mosi shares that Jaden hawks justice, just like cabbage is hawked. Now we have personification. Mosi saying that the Samaritan app is damaging his reputation, as shown on page 73. Now all the similes I've given, you can see a lot of hyperbole in them. So we have hyperbole, and when we are told that roads resemble the battlefield, that is exaggeration that have been bombed with the notation as 62. Then Mosi says that Honorable Ted must have quit school after kindergarten, and that he sleeps in a drum of illicit liquor. Actually, that cannot be true. Now, Mosi also accuses the leaders for eating the whole hospital. Is it possible to do that? Possibly it's just trying to say that the corruption has been too high. When he says also that Justice Jaden sells hawks justice like cabbage, that is an overstatement. He claims that Honorable Seymour hides behind satanic dark classes that threaten everyone and everything, including his own shadow. And He can drive the devil. Yeah. Then we have allusion, both biblical and literal allusion. In literal allusion, we see that Mosi indicating that the Son of Man cast the legal profession in a biblical allusion to Jesus. That is page 70. Then we have Mosi also saying that he is being crucified for the mistakes that are done by other people. Then we have Moses saying that the Samaritan Act presents a cock and the bull story, where the mere excuses are implausible explanations that turn unbelievable. We have idiomatic expressions too. If you check on page 62 and 69, you can see Nicole saying that buck stops with you. Like the responsibility is yours. Now, Mosi also refers to the leaders as eating a loaf of bread, that the bread here, a loaf of bread is all fans. We have a lot of rhetorical questions here. I can quote where Nicole said, and Mosi asks Nicole, can you also even dare mention that? Haven't you heard how dangerous he is, when he's referring to Seymour, who has the black swan? Page 66. Then we have an idiophone, page 56 and 67. Onomatopoeia, whining, slamming, page 71 and 73. Now we have also euphemism, where the exact words shouldn't be mentioned, seed capital. Irony, it's ironical that Nareen is not willing anymore to support the project by Nicole and thinks that Nicole maybe is indeed fighting the politicians. Nicole finds ironical that Mosi, as her leader, is unable to fight corruption. It's also ironical that Mosi campaigned for Ted King. Now he talks ill of him. Now, we also see that most leaders in the municipal, instead of doing what they should do for the citizens, they only squander and destroy everything. Now, we see also Justice Jaden, who is supposed to work for justice. He is hawking justice. It's also ironical that Seymour and Ted were voted in when they are very poor, yet currently they are very rich. We have sarcasm also. Nicole especially exhibits a lot of sarcasm on the mayor when he's complaining about his fellow leaders. Throughout page 63 up to 71, we see her asking, like, isn't it your responsibility? Like, whether the deputy must be a disgrace, and whether Justice Ian Jaden is a man whose true colors are contradictory to the smart nature and all that. So you'll learn a lot of sarcasm as you read this book. And generally, I find a lot of satire also. The author has embraced satire, like lessons we have to learn from how these leaders conduct themselves. We have humor and proverbs too. Now, when you look at character and character traits, you come to Nicole. She's very ambitious. She knows that the app has to work and focuses on it. She's determined, daring, and firm because she wants the app to work and therefore nothing will stop. So she reasons out that the app must be maintained. She's quite sarcastic. As I've said, there is sarcasm, so she's sarcastic while talking to the mayor. We find her critical because she ideally wants to question the ideas of the mayor. She's very frank because she tells the mayor what she thinks about corruption in the office. She's diligent because she's not in to be paid to stop the app from working. Mosi, on the other hand, is very sarcastic also because he refers to everyone as evil. Like he says people should not glorify evil and mediocrity, then turn and whine. Like he's showing sarcasm on the citizens who voted in these leaders. When he talks about even the holler monkey, and not people should not complain when it hollers, or bananas and all that. That is all sarcastic. He is also negligent because being a leader, you don't expect him to come and complain to Nicole about who has done this and that, whining in the office. He's corrupt also because Nicole asks him money so that they drop the Samaritan app. You can see Then he takes a slice and even two, and only three. That's what he says himself on page 68 and 69. He's dictatorial because he's coming around to boss Nicole and tell her what to do to delete what is on the app. He's quite humorous also when he's explaining how Ted looks, say moi, and how they got into being rich and how they can scare people, like they can drive the devil out of the hell. He's quite humorous. We find him hopeless. At some point, he's in desperation. He's despairing that nothing can happen, He can't do anything to whatever is happening currently. He's also superstitious because when he's describing his friends like Seima, he explained that he wears satanic what in a satanic way. Then we see Nareen as the principal, who is suspicious. She suspects that Nicole might really be fighting the politicians and doubts that Nicole can be doing that out of good act. She is also fearful. She's quite afraid that whatever Nicole does will bring trouble. Then she's advisory. She advises her and tells her like a mother to stop fighting the politicians because after all these things were there before. She's quite frank. She doesn't hide what she feels or thinks. She's appreciative at some point, and we sense that she kind of appreciates Nicole. Now, we also realize that the rest of the leaders who are mentioned, Ted, Seymour, and all that, they are very corrupt, they are violent, greedy, and evil. Jaden himself is also corrupt, yeah, and greedy. That's why, even though he's a lawyer, he gets into a fix with the rest of the people. Yeah, so this is an act that has a lot of information, and maybe I would appreciate if you ask questions about it. It will help me to explain more and maybe answer your questions. Otherwise, stay tuned to my channel and I'll keep giving you more information. Bye bye for now.